If you find rejection unbearable, then this is for you. Rejection is a universal and very normal experience for all humans. It happens professionally, personally, and romantically. If it hasn't happened yet, it probably will. And these emotions, even though it's very normal, it still hurts. It can be disappointing and it can even cause self doubt. So, the reason why these feel so intense sometimes, these moments of rejection, is because the brain processes rejection like it does physical pain. If you think about rejection in the times of people thousands of years ago, if they were excommunicated from their community or if they were exiled, that was a death sentence for them. Like they had no way of surviving on their own. People needed community back then, and we need community now. We're not meant to do life alone. So when we lose or sense a loss of community connection with other people, our brain sees it as almost life and death. And we can't really control that reaction. Like, that's what it's made to do. So give yourself some grace. Your brain is reacting like it's this very serious emergency. And you can sit down and sit with those emotions before reacting to them. So take a moment, pause, reflect on what you're feeling, and then respond to the situation later if it warrants a response. But it's very, very important not to internalize rejection as a reflection of your self worth. Rejection does not define you as a person. So, what we don't want to do when we experience rejection is chase validation or overanalyze the situation. Because if we chase validation, it's going to create a vicious cycle of needing to do it again and again and again and again. But that's not always possible. We're not always going to get it. So we need to be able to validate ourselves and realize our worth is not tied to other people's decisions or feelings about us. And then we don't want to overanalyze a situation because at some point we're just guessing. We're assuming what other people have said. We're trying to be mind readers. And that doesn't work. So we want to shift our self-talk. And self-talk really matters. It matters how you talk to yourself because your brain soaks that in and it takes it as a belief. So then you start to actually believe that about yourself. So we want to phrase it like, this hurts, but it doesn't define me. So you can acknowledge the emotion and what you're feeling in the moment, but then reframe. It doesn't define me because that's true. That's a fact. So we can reframe it as redirection, not failure. Like this job wasn't for me and that's okay. Or this person wasn't for me and that's okay. It's not a failure on your part. And we can recognize other factors too. Again, this isn't into overanalyzing, but we can recognize that maybe the timing was off. Maybe there wasn't as much compatibility or the circumstances just didn't fit. And speaking of rejection professionally, an example of this, as therapists, we get rejected all the time, and sometimes ghosted. So we never know what it was what that happened or what was wrong that they decided to leave. A client decided to leave. But it's not always about us or something we did or said. Sometimes it can be we're too young or older than they wanted or reminded them of somebody from their past subconsciously. Like it could be literally anything. We have no idea. So you can't take it personally if you don't know what's wrong. So instead of focusing on the rejection, overanalyzing it, we can focus on what's next. So spend time with people that you know support you, that you can lean on in a tough time. Like you can reach out to when you're struggling and spend time with those people. Build your support system. Then we want to reflect on any lessons later, not in the moment. Because it's good to learn lessons from experiences, but in the moment, you don't really need to analyze that. That's just going to make it more stressful. So save that for later. And again, don't tie rejection to your self-worth. You are more than that. Rejection is going to happen. It doesn't determine who you are and how good you are of a person. So until next time, keep on reflecting.